Yes, me again. I am on here to discuss what I heard the other day. I'm always hearing stuff, but some things I just think needs addressing. Not that it necessarily needs to be addressed by me, but I can do this because, in the words of Tabitha Brown, it's my business. But the clip basically was asking this girl why she was single, and she said because she's waiting, on God. She does want to get married and have children and everything. So she was, and so the guy was asking her particulars about the Bible and what it says. And so she said that, it should be uh, God, Christ, the husband. Then she said herself, then she changed. She said the husband, the children, and then herself. Now, I don't know where she get that from, but I'm going to read what I got out the Bible. Because, I always try to base everything on what I see in the Bible, and everybody's interpretation is different, but this is, there's no other way you can interpret this. It's from 1 Corinthians 11 and 13, which says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God." So that's the order. See what people fail to realize is when, just say if you don't have any children, and it's just some people just never have any children, and of course that order is there. So when the children come, they're added, they're an addition to that family. And so no matter what type of family, whether it's a blended family, whatever, it's always Christ, the man, then the woman. And what the husband and wife have to do is have a united front. If it's a blended family, ladies, we're going to have another discussion on another day, but don't just let the man come in and just start doing to your kids. Let him build the relationships and you monitor that, but you all discuss anything in reference to discipline, all that other kind of stuff. But like I said, that's not what I'm here for. I'm talking about the order. And so, and I just think the reason, because, you know, Eve got deceived. So, well, Adam was right there, and God gave him the instructions, not to eat of the, tree. But when she ate, she gave it to him who was with her. That's what the word says. He was right there with her. But, something interesting, we were studying, I go to the prison ministries at Leith Correctional. And when they had studies of different women. And so what I did was they asked me to pick one, and I chose Sarah. And what, you don't read, I don't read it so many times, but this one just stuck out to me. I didn't realize that God gave him permission to allow Sarah to get Hagar and Ishmael out the house. Now it was also, it's a whole nother story behind it, because Sarah tried to help God out, and that's the problem in and of itself. God didn't need her help. He told her he had a son that was, that was coming through them. And he was a covenant, the promised, he was a covenant of promise. And so they didn't want to wait. So they had Ishmael. And then as soon as she get pregnant, Sarah all, looking kind of whatever, like it's like, dang, she done got pregnant from my husband. She all upset, but you the one did it. So then 13 years go by after she left the first time, and Hagar came back because the angel met her and told her to go on back. So Abraham had a chance to, raise his son for, 13 years. Then here comes Ishmael. Sarah finally gets pregnant with the promise that God gave to them. And then they throw a feast. And of course, kids are going to be kids. Ishmael started antagonizing or picking at Isaac. That's what kids do. Sarah, of course, didn't like it. So she's like, Abraham, baby, he got to go. They got to go. So God, he inquired of God and said, what should I do? And God said, whatever Sarah tell you to do. And I thought that was quite interesting because, so many times we have baby daddies and baby mamas and all this kind of stuff. And so God told him, to do what she said. So Hagar and Ishmael, Abraham gave them stuff to kind of live off. He tried to take care of them the best he could so that they can leave and be provided for, however long. And so I thought that was interesting because I was like, why wouldn't he make him stay there and just say, take care of the child? But see, there's order. Abraham, Sarah, who's the wife, then the children. So what he was saying is, how people say happy house, happy spouse. It's some truth. The Bible tells better be on a rooftop than better be on a rooftop than in a house with a contentious woman. So women can stir up some stuff. And so, when you see divisions about it, don't mean that now in our culture, we have ways that we can take care of the child and do whatever, because Abraham did give her some provision for for a short period of time. Of course, she ran out later. But I said all that to say is when Genesis 21, 9 through 14, when, Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar had was born to Abraham was mocking. And she said to him, get rid of the slave woman and her son, and the son would never share an inheritance with my son Isaac. And the matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, do not be distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the slave into a nation also, because he is your offspring. Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave them to Hagar. He set them on her shoulders and then sent her off with the boy. She went away and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. So to me, and it's just my 2 cents for change, as always, we got to think about when we all trying to help God out. And we got to think about how our society tried to, it's split because now you found a woman of promise. You get married, you want to get right, you want to become a Christian, so you get married to, honor God. And so all the other baby mamas that you got, men, you disrespect the wife. But you got to remember, your children gonna have their own families one day, but that wife can be consistent and be there for you. And your children gonna always be there if that wife is there or not. So consider the fact that you got a woman that loves you and wants to be there for you. And men, do the same for the woman. Women, do the same for the men. You don't want to run the man off because your baby daddy coming around and being disrespectful to your husband. And y'all got to have a unified front. So that means you discuss things in private and come up with things for your household. You have to love on each other. Society has changed, but God has not. There's an order. It's God, Jesus, the man, then the woman. Your children are after that, because sometimes you don't even have children. So it's always that order. Honor your house, honor what God's word has said, and take and receive the blessings that comes with it. Now we know that a lot more has happened since that time, but don't try to make the mistake of helping God out, because you see how that worked out for them. But God still honored his promise, because he's going to do that. He's not a God that he shall lie. So think about this before you get married. There's an order. I know you love your children, ladies, but that man come before your children. Man, I know you love that woman, but that woman comes before your children. So before you marry someone, think about those things. Get into that word. And this is just for Christians. It's supposed to be for everybody. But as a Christian, we need to honor God's word. That's just my 2 cents for change. Be blessed and think before you marry.